Welcome, friends, to the next discussions in the series of Economics for Everyone. Today, we'll discuss about understanding the economy. In the last session, if you remember, we discussed about understanding economic activity. Now, an economy consists of, as we all know, a set of all economic activities. So, it's a larger picture, what we call macroeconomic or aggregate picture. We discussed last time about the economic activity with an example of automobile sector and real estate sector. So now we know how do we include all economic activity and discuss in few minutes. It may sound complicated, but we'll simplify. We'll take any of these economic activity as an example and put a graphical picture and explain what is happening in a complicated economy in a two-dimensional graph. It is possible. What happens, for example, we discussed about the example of purchasing a car. So many economic activities are created due to the creation of derived demand. So when you buy a car, you buy a tire, you buy a leather, you buy a glass, you buy a paint, so many things which you do it. Yeah. So what we are trying to say here is we can describe them. How does it happen? So when I open an automobile company, I try to recruit people. I put in a lot of resources. I purchase a location for a plant. There are some investors who would like to just invest and take part and only enjoy the returns. If I am a person who is starting an automobile company or a real estate company, I am an entrepreneur or a businessman who wants to start it, with all the risk I'm ready to take. So in an economy, exactly that's what happens. So we'll discuss it through what we call it as the circular flow of income and expenditure. We'll start with a simple picture of circular flow. Okay. What you see here is circular flow of income and expenditure. The basic participants in any economy are household and firms. Okay. Like we all come from household or family. Business firms or organizations which source the input from household. Like I told you, let us say example, there is an automobile factory to produce a car. It starts in the country or any location for a region. So what happens? There are some part household which provides labor, technical inputs. There could be a qualified technical person, engineer who want to work in that company. Maybe there are large tracts of land owned by certain people who provide land for the space for this company to set up a plant and receive a rent. Okay. And there are people who just want to invest in it. And if the company goes profit, they actually take returns. And there are people who start this company itself, or people who starts accessories which actually supply to these companies, enterprises, to the main firm, or the main firm itself started by an entrepreneur. And these what we call as land, labor, capital, enterprise or entrepreneurs. And they are called factors of production. Okay. Now for their contribution, each of these factors of production get a reward. For land, you get rent. For labor, you get wages. For capital investment, you get interest. And for providing entrepreneurship, for taking the risk, you make a profit. Isn't it? Interestingly, this is one set of activity as described in the upper half of the circular flow. So when you receive the rewards, what do you do? Some of these households become a customer to the automobile company itself. The business firm explained here is automobile company. We take an example. So what do they do? So for part of the rewards, they may probably spend in purchasing automobile itself. So it is a part of a consumption expenditure. A consumption expenditure could be having a food, buying a service, purchasing a product or automobile, anything. And so The business firms use the factor inputs from household and produce this car, and some of the households which purchase this car, they provide the goods and services to them. There are a lot of associated services. So what you see here in the lower half of the circle is consumption expenditure, that is purchasing of this product and supply of this product, demand and supply. So what you see in the upper half of is the factor inputs and the rewards for it. Okay. So what happens here is complete the income and expenditure flow, which is discussed with the with these two participants, primary participants in an economy known as household and business firms. Okay. You have one angle, the factor markets operating with the factor inputs. The other angle is the product market operating with provision of products and flow of goods and services and rewards. A simple graph which can explain how the economic activity goes through. Now, let us get into the next stage. We'll get it later on. There are more participants than what we think. Okay. To complete the discussions, we will see here the firms are the fundamental decision making units in the market economy. Okay. The fundamental decision making are firms and households. A firm is an entity that produces goods or services. Firms take resources such as labor, capital, and other inputs and transform them into products that people or other firms wish to purchase. An example of a firm would be an automobile producer that takes labor, tires, sheet metal, machinery, other inputs and transform them into cars and trucks. That's what we discussed here. Firms are the primary producing units in a market economy. Households, in addition to firms, households form the other fundamental component of market economy. They only supply, they only demand. They form the fundamental component of an economy. Households can range from individuals living alone to extended families living together. Households are described in the text as the primary consuming units in an economy. Okay, this discusses a brief discussion definition about your participants and the overall circular flow of income and expenditure, a graphical representation which gives us a feeling of what is happening in an economy and understanding the overall macroeconomy. Thank you. We'll meet the next time. Bye.